you don't really know too much about me as a player, so I should probably give you like some background and
Yeah.
some general ideas.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
that sounds good.
all right, so started in 2016, but didn't take the game seriously at all until 2018 when I moved to SoCal for college,
Sense.
and that's where I started really grinding, like pretty much going to Friday night turn up every week with Klesh, the Pikachu player, and Michael.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the squad for a while,
Yeah, I
and
remember
that's
that
where I started
squad.
grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think we met then too, or 2019 for
We
main
definitely
stage.
we definitely did meet at main stage. I'm not sure if you met at the turnip prior.
Okay, I see. Yeah, maybe you were at the turnip I was at, and there was just a lot of people. So,
Yeah, yeah, that also
but we
could be the
definitely started
case.
talking at main stage. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, been a Sheik main since day one.
Nice.
Uh, just always been because I didn't play melee casually like at all as a kid, so I only have played melee competitively, and I learned the game through Sheik. So she's like the character that I see like the game through most of the time, like through her lens of options.
Mm-hmm. Think.
Um, I would say this is a loaded term, I know, but I would say I am somewhere in the mid level.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a fair assessment based off my results and how I compare to people around me, especially like SoCal people.
Yeah.
I haven't gone 0 and 2 uh outside of this one time where I got upset by Alberto round 1 of losers
Okay, well
because
that's
he got upset.
that's a bit unfair. I feel like he's pretty good.
Yeah, no, he especially in like the last like 3 months, he's definitely been on the come up. And then
Yeah.
yeah. So I went 0 and 2 at a UCLA local of like 10 people. But other than that, I haven't gone 0 and 2, even like 1 and 2 in like at least a year. I usually go 2 or 2 or 3 or 2.
Nice.
Yeah. Which is at Verdugo pretty, I would say separates you from a decent amount of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I don't go to every single local like a lot of these grinders. I have like other stuff in my life, so I only go like once or twice a month, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. So I would say I'm somewhere in like the lower mid level because definitely still like prone to losing to people that are like super net play grinders that aren't really like placing like top 8 at every local,
Yeah.
like your Tinder Masters, your Glaspers, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I definitely want to push into that upper echelon of people that like when they hear not my name or my tag or anything, but they'll see my name come up and they'll be like, okay, he's someone to actually watch out for.
Yeah.
Because I'm somewhere in that middle area right now where it's like, oh, he could do like they'll see my tag, they're like, oh, he could do well, and it's like whatever. Like I went to a local at in Santa Ana recently or Orange County, and I was seated like third or something, and Frog Venom showed up and he was seated below me, and I'm like, wait a second, this guy's really really good. But then I
Yeah.
talked to him, and he hasn't played in like or he hasn't entered a tournament in like 3 years, which makes sense. Seeding is based off who shows up,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to play him, and I got kind of cooked.
Yeah, he's still
And
pretty
like,
good. I remember him from back when I
yeah,
played.
yeah, exactly. So that was like a thing for me where it's like I'm so used to going to only Verdugo and like Lawless and stuff where I'm seated like 20th,
Mm-hmm.
like mid 20s, something like that. That like when I was seated like a top four, like to get to winners semis, I kind of like had got a little bit more nervous, and
Yeah.
that's one of my strengths, I think. Uh, for me, that I've noticed is that I don't really. I mean, everyone gets nervous in tournament, but it doesn't really affect me that much in terms of like how I act before or after or during the set.
Yeah.
I'm usually trying to focus on the interactions I can and try and zone everything out. I feel like a lot of people and friends that I've talked to about playing in tournament like like the most stressful thing in the world, and it's humbling, which is totally valid, but to me it's just a game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you're not always supposed to win or lose.
Mm-hmm. That is definitely valid too. I have a
Yeah.
pretty similar tournament experience. Everyone around me is the most nervous person on the planet, and I'm like, well, I just go in the tournament and play and do what I need to do because that's how it is. And
Obviously expectations are different depending on like different levels of skill and how much work you've put in and if you've like traveled across the world for this
Oh
one
yeah,
thing.
but I mean,
Yeah,
it's just all different. I mean, like
exactly.
I'm someone who, at least relative to your friend group, would be at the top of it outside of like Shep or something, right? And it's like, okay, well, it's like
Oh yeah,
I
of
have a
course.
different experience from like say Gio, who gets super nervous but is still also good. It's just like everyone
Yeah,
kind of has like different, responses, and I think
yeah,
it's all pretty valid as long as it's
yeah.
not like, you know, something that is self inflicted.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah,
Just I don't know. I always say like the biggest opponent in melee is definitely yourself, right?
yeah.
It's mostly like there's obviously a different character opponent on the screen, but a lot of the time you're just battling yourself on like what you know is going to be the correct option and being okay with not always getting that correct option or winning every interaction. Because I
Mhm.
definitely there's some people that I play with that's like I want to help them and because they're in that mode right now where they still think they control every single interaction and it can go their way. And I'm
Yeah,
like, that's not like realistically feasible.
I agree. Melee is too
Uh,
varied.
exactly. No, but my goal right now is I just I do want to push up into that upper echelon. Like I've taken games off Salami and Zila. The Zila set is actually the one that I pulled up from YouTube that we can look at.
Mm.
Took games off Noah, Mega Xmas, Curve.
Hmm.
I'm definitely like when I'm on, I know that I can compete with these guys. That they're not some like super tier above me. Except for Logan, I will never beat Logan.
Well, Logan is actually just really good, and no one
I
talks about it.
I hate playing Logan is like the most like the way people talk about like playing Cactuar is like he makes you feel dumb. That Logan is like my Cactuar.
Yeah, no, I definitely think Logan, when you play against him and you're not better, or like his skill level, he feels horrific because he just like he checks you on every little thing, and
It,
you're gonna get fucking bombed if you're not good enough to deal with it.
yeah, he just chump checks everything you're doing that's bad, and it's like he never does anything fancy. He only does whatever the option is to beat whatever you're doing, and it's very frustrating because so it's so telegraphed and obvious, or not obvious, but it's like of course that's the option you choose. Like that just makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
So
agree.
I do enjoy playing him a lot though because he shows me a lot of my holes in my gameplay
Mm.
very obviously.
I think that's good to have. Being able, I think it's really hard, honestly, genuinely, to like figure that stuff out on your own all the time. So having someone that could like provide you with some basis to like understand what your flaws are is super duper valuable.
Yeah, of course. And also like playing people that are better than you, like there's certain obviously you want to play people that are better than you like a good amount of the time to show you like what your holes are.
Yeah.
But there's certain play styles that like are better for like teaching you like what you could be doing better. Like I remember like I played Ethan at Genesis at like 4 a.m.
Mhm.
because we were degenerates and he was just like beating the brakes off me. I'm like, damn, like he's moving a little bit fast for me to like process what like I'm too busy being on the back foot, like trying to like catch my footing
Yeah.
rather than like actually analyzing like the game and seeing like what I could be doing better.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
that's just an example of like kind of what do they say? It's like, oh, you're getting run over.
Yeah. That definitely happens. I think with like varying play styles and stuff like it's pretty uh like it definitely happens a lot where or it's more that like the way that various playstyles interact with other playstyles is like there's going to be some playstyle. It's like how have you heard how someone says like oh that guy's playstyle counters me or whatever. There's going to be like certain playstyles that
Yeah.
just end up being easier or harder to interact with in varying ways. And I don't think like necessarily playstyle countering is even like that much of a thing, but more the sentiment that like you will do or have different capabilities depending on what type of playstyle you're playing in. So it makes sense to someone like Ethan. I think Ethan's pretty fast and definitely is like kind of an abuser. That's not the word I want to use. He has an abusive playstyle in the sense that he kind of
Yeah.
like just will hit you for doing like things that maybe aren't the best and will make you like play up to him or something. But I think that like there's gonna be other play styles where like I think that um, maybe me, for example, I feel like I have a playstyle where most of the things I end up doing function pretty strictly within like the expected game function or whatever, right? I do the
Mhm.
expected thing most of the time because it's good. And then that when people play against me, it's like, oh, I can clearly understand what's happening more often. And I
Yeah,
think that it changes. It's like how Logan does the thing that makes sense and is good. And so when you play him, you're like, damn, I
I
got fucked
definitely
in this way.
I definitely get similar well, I don't want to say like you and with Logan play very similar, but I definitely got that same type of thought process and decision making come across from both of your playing both of you guys.
Yeah, I think we view the game similarly. I'm not sure how much we play similarly. We might play pretty similarly too, but we definitely think of the game similarly too.
Yeah,
So
and I think that definitely shines through the gameplay more so
yeah,
is like your thought process and like your decision making.
yeah.
Um, some things I think Sheik that I could that I think I have good strengths in is I'm pretty comfortable in the scrap compared to most Sheiks that I see
Mhm.
in around my level. Like I definitely see like Pensive and like D's like want to like they kind of want to abuse like Sheik's threat range of like you need to get close to me to hit me,
Mhm.
and I will kind of not retreat at all. Not that's not the right word, but they definitely know how to like hold their ground better than I do. Whereas this is a problem with me that I've like kind of broken down, but I'm always in attack mode a lot of the time. Like
Mhm.
I'm always thinking, how can I get the hit? Not how can I like make them hard to hit me?
Yeah, that
And
makes sense.
like I find myself chasing a lot of the time in spots where I'm like, well, I could just charge needles for 0.5 seconds, and then they'll be like, what is he doing? Definitely a movement. I don't practice like movement a lot, but I play a lot of different characters and a lot of the game like casually to the point where execution in my eyes is not really something that I struggle with
Mhm.
a lot of the time. And also Sheik isn't the most technical character. You just need to you like good wave dashes and ledge dashes and like dash dancing, needle cancels, like that'll take you so far.
I agree.
Like I've recently started to try to do like a run crouch F tilt and run crouch up tilt to strengthen my ground movement because I'm not very good on the ground. I'm very much more comfortable on the platform, which is definitely a Sheik thing,
Makes
you know.
sense. Sheik's really good on the platforms.
Exactly. So I spent so much of my practice trying to like, okay, how can I abuse like them like coming onto like side plat? How can I like maneuver around them without attacking them directly and threatening their space? How can I like kind of whiff or not whiff? How can I like whiff punish like their aerial with like maybe like a shield drop fair or a shield drop up air or something
Mhm.
like that? Uh, yeah,
That makes a lot of sense. I think that we could definitely spend time talking about ground game stuff and you know um, kind of utilizing Sheik's kit in the most effective way possible. Because I think that it makes a lot of sense just from knowing how Sheik works that like you feel inclined to like know how to or be good at scrapping or better than other Sheiks at scrapping and things of that nature. Because Sheik is really good at it. She has great ground moves that are fast and big, and it's like
yeah,
that's super uncommon. So it's like in melee, you have a character like Sheik that has big, fast moves. She beats a lot of characters in scrambles inherently. Marth, Puff, Fox sometimes, Falco not really ever, Falcon,
yeah.
and so it's like most of the cast loses the Sheik in scramble. So it makes sense that you're like super willing to like play out the scrambles and be good at them. But I also think that what makes Sheik good actually kind of ends up being the opposite, where it's like if Sheik doesn't want to get hit, she is probably one of the hardest characters to hit directly.
Yeah, that's something that I like slowly realized like the more I have like played against, especially like people above my skill level, is I need to be a lot harder at I need to make it way harder for them to try and hit me because
Yeah.
for so long I play people at like the mid level or the low level where they're punished like they can get like a maybe 40-50% off one hit, and it's like okay, I can play a little bit more risky and get in their face more because I know that my punish is better than theirs or that like I'm better in the scrap. but then I'll play people that like are better than me, and you don't want that. You don't want to play in that attack mode because they will hit you and kill you.
Yeah, you're gonna
Or
lose the interaction one of the times, and it will go horrifically. And it's like,
yeah,
oh man,
exactly. It's like, oh, the game is like there's definitely levels. Like the game has changed like so like drastically within like a little bit. So I want to get more comfortable in that situation.
yeah, hmm yeah. No, I think
Um,
that's super important.
one thing about about Sheik that's kind of not causation, but definitely a correlation thing is just like honestly like seeing Jmook do so well at the top level because I started in like 2018 and obviously in 2018 that was the Plup era
Yeah,
where he was fucking shit up and like beat Armada and was like a contention for the best player in the world and like seeing hit and obviously you want to look at the top player of your character for inspiration.
yeah,
Like every Falco wants to be a Mango fanboy, you know.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, I would just like watch Plup over and over again and be like, okay, what does he do that I could do? Okay, he's really good at good platform movement and good at scrapping. Okay, practice that.
yeah,
He was never really the strongest tech chaser, and that's something in my gameplay that I'm very definitely probably that's probably the biggest thing is I can definitely grind out tech chasing more. Like I
hmm
literally just found out like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, that Fox and Falco's tech in place animation has them split their legs.
yep,
And I'm like, I've been up smashing and wave dash back F tilting tech in place this whole time because I
hmm
can't react with grab fast enough. And I'm like, oh, I should just okay.
yeah,
So that's definitely helped a lot. And I feel like if I'm really on, then I can tech chase. But I have no consistency with it.
yeah. hmm That's definitely the biggest part of Sheik's Punish game. It sucks because tech chasing is really hard, but man, it is. It really just changes the risk reward of the space you
Oh
match
no,
up such an
absolutely.
insane amount.
It's like not only does it make your obviously like in-game punish game better, but it scares your opponent when you're at that level of consistency that like they second guess their options because they know if you run into one CC or one like up tilt grab, it's like that's like 80+%.
Yeah, you could just die, and if you don't
Like
just die, you probably end up in a pretty bad position.
yeah, like seeing Foxes play against Jmook is just like it really does feel like a different game, like
Oh,
compared to everyone else.
definitely. This is the first Sheik in a while where it's just been like, oh, this Sheik has good defensive tech skill and good punish game. He beats every Fox for free. And at the top, it's different because Cody's good at a lot of different things, or
Yeah,
Mango's Fox is good at a lot of different things, or whatever. But it's like fundamentally, I think Cody was one of the biggest proponents of like disrespecting Sheik a ton. And it's like,
yeah,
oh look, you find the one Sheik you have to respect. He loses bad every time. Or Mango's
yeah,
Fox does too. He's also the same type, right? So it's like, oh my gosh, it changes so much.
yeah. Like literally, like when Cody won that one tournament over Plup, it's like, dude, this guy's the best Fox versus Sheik. Like it's literally looks impossible, and then he gets 3-0'd and styled on a month later at Genesis
Yeah.
when Jmook broke out, and like yeah, watching that with like Gio and all the guys like at the guild house was like we were just screaming our heads off because it's like, can you do that? Like like he made Cody look like a day four Fox. Like it
Yeah.
was crazy.
He just did what he wanted with him.
Because like I don't know. This is something that I've also tried to adopt. Is like obviously there's so much influence from the player to the character, but at the end of the day, it is just a fox on the screen, and you know how to hit a fox.
Yep. I
And
agree.
it's obviously you want to respect your opponent's decision making when they play, but when you get like the super good juicy hit and like you understand their defensive options at a decent point, then you can just like go to town.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason for it to be different, right? I think
Exactly.
that kind of goes for Melee as a whole because it's like, at the end of the day, Melee is a system. It'll function the same way every single time. And sure, people will be doing different things within it. But if you understand what's going on well enough, it does not matter who's doing the button, right?
Mm,
And I think that, like, it's super valuable to view it that way because for a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm playing against X player. And then they get nervous or maybe
yeah.
they drop X thing. But it's like, it's all the same, It's really
Yeah.
all the same.
I think there was I don't know if it was from a fiction lesson or something, but I remember hearing something about something he said when he came back to competing. And he was like The only thing that has changed are the people. The game has not changed. It's the people playing the game and the options they choose. But the actual game itself doesn't change.
Yep.
And I'm like, damn, that was profound as hell.
The game is the game. There's nothing that will change the game outside of someone
Yeah,
patching it, right? But it's
yeah,
like
exactly.
Fox Up Smash will always be 7 frame startup and whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, like Sheik F tilt will knock down at 24, 25%. Just, like
And
that's
that's
just
gonna work.
yeah,
Like
that's
Sheik will
just stuff that
always,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's just like that Forte will always just do the thing you need to do, and it'll always win the X mix-up in the same way every time if the mix-up's consistent, right? It's like the game, you know, if you know how to play the game on some level, it'll probably end up working that way regardless.
Yeah. Um should I grab the VOD real quick so we can take a look at that? I feel like
Yeah.
I definitely got out a lot of some of my internal thoughts about just the game in general, where I am
Mm,
among my competitive peers,
yeah.
stuff like that.
I think all makes sense, and I think it's both valid and presumably accurate. And I think that honestly, given what you said, it'd be valuable for us to kind of make our goals along the lines of, I want to like present you a way to approach the game that is consistently applicable and like aligns with your current set of ideals for it, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I want to essentially my goal with lessons with almost anyone is like I don't necessarily want to tell you the exact thing you need to do in any given situation. I more want to give you the tools to figure that out on your own and
I see.
be able to be like, oh, I know this situation exists, so I'm gonna try and think of ways to play it out in whatever way. And I think that'll
Uh,
end up being most valuable.
let's see here. I just DM'd it to you because I didn't know if I should overload the Discord chat
Oh
or
no, it's
just
fine. You could just DM it to me.
yeah.
Yeah, don't have to worry about that. But
How
yeah, I think
how
that'll
old is
be
this VOD?
super. 3 months it says.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, 3 months
I
isn't
haven't.
bad.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think this was on YouTube because I always do the Geo, which is you watch your VOD on Twitch immediately
Mm-hmm.
afterwards at dinner with your friends and don't talk for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
That is the most Geo thing.
dude, I totally get it because I play in tournaments. I remember I did the same thing. I went to a random Texas tournament maybe 2 weekends or 3 weekends, some amount of time ago, and I remember I played the sets and I was like, well, time to watch. And it's just like it's a legitimately valuable habit to have
Oh
to be
yeah.
willing to watch the things that occurred actively so soon after they happen is like definitely a grinder esque thing.
Yeah. You want to rip off the band-aid fast and be like, okay, let's just take a look at this thing.
Yeah, it's too easy to be like, man, I don't want to watch this VOD. I lost, blah blah blah, and then spend a month not looking at it, and then it's like, what that month could have been spent, improving.
Yeah. I watched this a couple of times because so game one, I was doing really, really well. I mean, he SD'd pretty early percent,
Mhm.
but I was playing really, really well for the most part, and I was up 4 stocks to 1, and then I almost blew it. So I'm like, okay, where's my consistency? Did he just hit me and kill me, or did I just kind of get lazy and start? I'm like, oh, you're up 4 stocks to 1. You can play however you want and just fish for hits.
Yeah.
Like, you know. I think I ended up losing the set 2-1 because I won
Mm-hmm.
game one.
Mm-hmm.
But but yeah, I think this is a uh very interesting set to analyze. Also, I have so little Peach experience that I counterpicked him game 3 to FD, and
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that Peach is really good on FD versus Sheik because I
Yeah.
don't play the character that often. And I'm like, wait, he's like floating and I can't really hit him, and
It's
I
like,
can't
oh.
really. I'm like, oh, I can't needle him from top and side plat. I'm in danger.
Yeah, it's like, oh, maybe I needed those platforms. What the?
Yeah,
Yeah, so I
because I could have,
definitely think.
because I think I could have gone to Yoshi's game 3, but he down smashed me on side plat like 50 times in
Mm-hmm.
game 2 that I got scared,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
and that also aligns with what I was saying earlier that I'm definitely jump happy. I definitely need to be more okay on the ground.
Yeah, I think that um Yeah, no, I mean, I think that makes sense. A conclusion that might be valuable to, or not a conclusion, but kind of an idea that I kind of want to implant is like, I think that, um, kind of generalizing with like, oh, I was jump happy or X thing is valuable because it makes it easier to understand things. But I also think that like something that should, I guess, be understood about those generalizations is that they're referring to specific things that happen within them. And so I think that like it'll be valuable for the future when you like maybe watch yourself play or realize that something's going a certain way and you like decide to generalize it. Is that within that generalization there are specific situations that like you're probably playing wrong that you could look at. And so I think that
Mm,
um, for this example, when we look at the spots where maybe you jump into down smash, it's like we could be like, okay, well, this is an explicit situation, and the decision you made ended up going poorly for X reason, and then we could, talk about it or whatever. But
yeah.
and that's not to say that you weren't even doing it now, but I guess I just want to kind of implant that set of ideas into your head to where it's like
Mm,
the generalizations you make are important and valuable, but it's also important to be really specific because there's going to be a point
I see.
where there's two situations that look nearly identical but are different enough to like actually matter. Because there's some
I see.
spots where you're under Peach and you do get to jump for free every single time without any risk of getting down smashed. But
Okay.
it's like that only exists in that specific situation. And so like being able to judge or not being able to judge, but knowing that those are like actually different situations explicitly is super duper important, and it will like expedite the learning process an absurd amount because it's like if you can play those situations individually well, it's gonna go well. But I do think what you said was made sense, and I'm not even saying that you were thinking of it wrong or anything because I think what you did was a good thing to do. But I do want to also just present the idea that it's really important to be super specific just because like you know things are
I see.
different and things
Yeah,
matter.
absolutely. That's I don't think I talked about that yet, but that's one of the main reasons why I really wanted to start doing lessons is I I have a really hard time articulating my melee thoughts in a way that is presentable and like I can bounce off other people and like talk about their ideas. I'm not really a big labber. I don't really know a lot of like frame data or anything like that.
Mm.
I kind of just I like see the situation. I'm like, huh, like can like there's like four different options, answers I can do in this situation. What is the option that will A, mix them up, two, give me an advantageous position, three, I can continue my combo after this or get a good starter and like just go through like all stuff like that and like try and maximize like every hit and not just like maximize in ways that's like oh, like how can you hit them the hardest? But it's like how can you like mess with them the hardest? How can you like I'm always trying to like mix them up and be like have them second guess and make them feel a little bit uncomfortable, which is
Mm.
why I like scrapping so much because a lot of people are very uncomfortable like in very very close quarters where you're like moving like around each other's shield and like jab pressure and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is all good. I think that's definitely the right way to look at mix-ups or situations where it's like these are the set of options I can do, and then you decipher which of those options have good risk reward against X things, and fleshing out the tree entirely. And as for like being able to articulate your thoughts like accurately, I
Mm,
think that if you kind of like establish a consistent framework through which you view or engage with melee, I think that like the more knowledge you build up, you'll be able to essentially repeat X information through such framework. So, for example, um, something that is like something that happens in the game is Falco, um, lasers, and then approaching down airs, and the fox gets hit by the down air. And so
yeah.
it's like if I were to be explicit in explaining the situation, it would go through the framework of which like what are the qualities of the situation, it being the laser hitting the fox means that the fox is at frame disadvantage, and thus that changes Falco's threat range because the more time you have, the further you can go, right? A threat range to
Yeah.
be defined is the unreactable point where which a character can hit another character, right?
Mm, yeah.
Um, and so because you have more time where they can't do anything, then your threat range is larger. And so then it's like, once we have established all those things through this framework, then we could look at the situation and be like, oh, well, Falco was able to down air, and Fox tried to do something defensive like dashing back, but didn't have the time because he got hit by the laser and was closer than, expected or than he normally would be if he were to escape a situation with dashback.
I see.
And I think that like explanation was a bit convoluted, but that's kind of the point where it's like there is all this information that we're accounting for, and if you have like a framework that's consistently applicable, then you'll just be able to kind of put information in through it and then come out and then be like, obviously the final conclusion I came to was much simpler than me saying frame rate advantage this, blah 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 that. But it's like,
I see.
Once you understand the inner workings of something, it's a lot easier to be like to simplify it, I guess. And so I guess the real takeaway is building your fundamental understanding of these situations will probably provide value in terms of like being able to properly articulate your thoughts. Just because it's like concrete things aren't hard to talk about, it's
Mm,
never going to be difficult to say, oh yeah, my car's tire doesn't have air in it. And it's just because that is the case, right? That
yeah.
car tire is, that it needs air in it, and so you could say my car tire doesn't have air, and that's the same for like talking about a situation. Obviously, it's more simplistic, but it is consistent.
And it's not wrong by any means,
Yeah,
but you want to explore a little bit deeper that. Real quick tangent. Speaking of threat ranges, so I hate Falcon.
yeah,
Falcon is like my least favorite character to fight in melee for the longest time because he definitely exposed two of my biggest weaknesses. Was I get hit easily. I don't really avoid moves, and my defense. He kind of opens you up a lot of the time, and you just die in 3 hits, and it's
mm-hmm.
very frustrating to deal with. And then I watched a lesson of yours a while ago. I forgot who with, but it was against Falcon, and you said that you can react to all like pretty much all of Falcon's aerials with shield if
Mm-hmm.
he's approaching from a certain distance. And ever since I like heard that, I'm like, wait, you can just do that because he has pretty slow startup on his aerials,
Yeah,
and he doesn't really have grounded approaching ones.
yep,
So unless he's like mixing you up with like CC grab or a fade away stomp, he can't really approach you in a way that's like that you can't already be ready for.
yep.
And that's definitely helped me a lot in the matchup. So thank you for that. You already did a lot just by me watching a couple of your other lessons.
Hell yeah. Oh,
Uh yeah, that was just a quick tangent because you mentioned threat ranges, and I thought that
yeah.
was like such a big thing because Falcon has some of the best and most insane aerial drift in the game,
Yep,
obviously.
I agree. I think that's like that example too is a great point about threat ranges because Falcon goes really far and his moves are really big, but his
Yeah,
effective threat range is tiny. His effective threat range is point blank in front of him because you have to get hit by the first frame in there, and everything outside
yeah,
of that is too slow to hit you before you can
yeah,
shield, right? And so it's like, oh, Falcon's threat range is actually super small, so I could change the way I play and have real defense of these things he does, right? And so it's like
yeah.
that's a super great lesson of defining threat range in a way that's like both applied and generally accurate, you know?
Yeah, it definitely covers both of those concepts you were talking about.
Yeah. I like that you bring that up. Okay, cool. We could just get into this. Uh, I know you talked about matchup a little bit, but I kind of want to cover, I guess, some fundamental things to Sheik Peach, just because, like, you know, it'll make it easier to base most of our other information off of. And so, I think
Okay.
Sheik has a lot of things that she does well against Peach. Her maneuverability is a big thing. She's faster than
Oh
Sheik.
yeah.
She can move around super well, jump to platforms, run away, do whatever thing she needs to do.
Yeah.
She generally outranges Peach. Her bear and fair are really, really, really good moves for, interacting with Peach from certain spacings because you just have the range, what's it called, advantage, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think that needles are a great tool because it lets you have space between you and Peach while still threatening something, forcing the
Yeah.
Peach to essentially deal with it or move forward and threaten maybe getting grabbed or getting hit out of the air or something of that nature, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I think that Sheik, mm, think that Sheik Shield is an extremely valuable tool in this matchup because
Oh yeah, she has like the best shield in the game,
yep,
pretty
she has a
much.
super big shield, and I think she has good things to do on a shield. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
that like
absolutely.
if you, it's like a Peach hitting your shield doesn't really matter that much unless she's willing to just raw grab you. But
Yeah.
something that I like about making someone raw grab you is that if they are grabbing you, they're committing to covering one singular option,
Mm.
and so you could do anything. You could jump out of shield, you could roll away, you could aerial out of shield and hit them before the grab. You could do whatever thing, and it'll interact well with the grab. So if you can make them do that, then it's like okay, well then they're down to lose those types of interactions. So that means that the risk reward tree holding shield in a lot of spots is really good. And I also think that Peach is bad at covering Sheik's out of shield options. Peach is slow, so she sucks at going through your shield to cover roll away.
I see.
She's if she wants to cover roll in, she generally has to like commit, and so she'd go out of her way preemptively because she's slow to cover it. If she wants to read you jumping, generally she'll have to do something preemptive, like full hop nair or something to read it, and so it's like
Yeah.
all these things. It's like she has to read it really really hard beforehand and doesn't have great tools to cover it preemptively without like being risky in some way.
Yeah.
And so shield's a great tool. And then there's a fundamental mix up that's pretty important between like if you're playing a Sheik and you want to like either be fairing or bearing, and it's pretty much if Peach is in the air, Bear ends up being a more effective tool because it reaches higher up and has slightly
Yeah.
more horizontal range. And if she's on the ground, Fair and F tilt generally tend to be better moves because Fair is better at hitting the ground, and F tilt is really hard for Peach to deal with because she's so slow.
I see. So if she's in like floating in the air, bear is a good is your aerial of choice at most of the time
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's a lot better at covering her horizontal distance. I see. Because
yeah,
like bear kind of like it kind of like goes upwards a little
yep,
bit, her other foot.
yeah,
So it's really good at covering like that threat range. It's kind of like how like Peach can like float above like Falco Laser a
yeah.
lot of the time, and it's like she can do that pretty much with like Sheik Fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I
Okay,
think
I see.
Sheik Bear is really good at dealing with Peach in the air because of her like leg being angled upward. And like
Yeah,
when you think of a Peach in the air, what's she gonna do to stop you from bearing?
I see.
Right?
That's something that I watched a Spark VOD a while ago, and he was like doing a lot of retreating. Not retreating. I guess yeah, retreating and like aerial and place bears against spacies
Mm-hmm.
because it covers like Fox short hop in a decent amount better than Sheik's Fair
Yeah,
because it's a bigger hitbox and lasts longer.
yeah. I think that's generally applicable for most characters.
I see.
With Sheik Bear and like aerial things. Um,
Okay.
and obviously you still want to use fair too, because there's a lot of times where like, for example, if you read a Peach jumping and you want to like hit her for it, you could do short hop fair and you get the most advantage possible.
Yeah,
Right?
it's definitely not as consistent, but the reward and like the hit you get is like so much cleaner than like a weak bear or like trading or something like that.
Yep. Yep. And
Okay.
so yeah, and that I mean, that's a whole thing in and of itself with like risk reward, value judgment, blah blah blah. But like at a baseline, fair is good for air. Fair slash playing evasive because I don't think fighting Peach on the ground is all that valuable. Um,
Yeah, that's something that I've kind of didn't realize is that Peach's ground game is kind of like really good. I
she's hard to hit.
on the like not just like because she has like down smash and dash attack and stuff, but like her wave dash and like dash dance. I'm like, wait, it's like deceptively like good.
Yeah, I agree. It's like she's slow, but because like her actions out of it are good, it's like, oh wait, Peach is actually obviously she's not the best on the ground. I think she's good in the air too, but she's like she has
Yeah.
real things on the ground that are hard to deal with. Peach dash attack super
Yeah.
good. Peach doing dash back, float cancel bear is super duper hard to deal with, and it doesn't have any lag. It's like she has a ton of things, or like even doing like a ground float cancel nair or something. She has a ton of
Yeah.
options that are really hard to deal with on the ground that let her
Yeah.
kind of just like play safe and do her own thing, blah blah blah. And so I
I
definitely think from
remember
Sheik's perspective, it's a bit risky.
before we start real quick, I remember I was watching Armada talk about Peach versus Sheik a long time ago, and he was like talking about how good Peach's ground game is versus Sheik, and especially how Peach's down tilt is one of her best openers and best like ways of dealing with like Sheik's options because you're already holding down for CC obviously, so you
Yeah.
can just down tilt a lot of her options, and it's such a good pop up in that matchup, especially because Peach's like grab and like dash attack don't really like set up for like they don't really pop up Sheik in that same way. Like obviously you dash attack is Fox at 30%. He's just you go to town right there.
Yeah, yeah. I think Arana's right. I agree. Down tilt. What makes down tilt really good is that down tilt has the pullback frames, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
And so
like a Falcon like side B or F smash. It kind of
yeah,
pulls you back.
yeah. And so what happens a lot of the time you see Armada do this. Probably other Peaches. I don't know how much they do it nowadays, but if a Sheik is facing forward and tries to do some sort of short hop action at Peach, the Peach will just down tilt, and the Sheik will fair. It'll whiff. They get down tilt whiff punished, and then they get down tilt up air, shark, nair, off stage, edge guard, blah blah blah. So it's like down tilt's really good. And then if the Sheik is like, I'm not gonna jump. I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna walk up forward tilt. It gets CC'd anyways, and it's like, okay, well, obviously it didn't go too well for you. So I definitely think Armada's right about that. And that's why playing evasive on the ground is so much better. Running away, throwing needles, catching Peach only when she, isn't able to do the down tilt shenanigans, is super good for Sheik.
Yeah. All right. We can. I guess we can watch some of the VOD now and get into it.
Cool. Stadium strike. I like this strike. I think most stages are actually pretty chill to play on the Sheik. Triplats are generally probably the best, just because you can play the most evasive.
But yeah, I think I could have chosen between this or FOD, and
FOD's so awkward. I don't blame you for not picking FOD.
It's just I appreciate the consistency in the space of Stadium.
Yeah.
Also lower ceiling, but I know that horizontally Peach obviously rules better than Sheik. Like Stadium and FD, like she just functions better on like the longer stages, and Sheik her strengths are lessened on like bigger, longer stages because she doesn't have a lot of burst options.
Yeah, but you have needles, and you still have platforms, so I think Stadium's still pretty good. I think most stages in this matchup end up being pretty good for you. I think FD is hard, and not Fountain. I think Fountain's pretty good too. Yoshi's can be hard if you don't know how to like interact with Peach quickly, and Stadium could be hard if you're not willing to like take your time.
Yeah, I've recently been a fan of Dreamland 2 as well.
Oh yeah, Dreamland's sick.
Because I realize it's not that Sheik's options get worse on Dreamland. It's just that Peach's survivability and options get way better.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to play out neutral more and like you're okay with just like fishing like hit by hit, then the stage doesn't actually change a lot of like the matchup interactions outside of like the KOs.
I agree. I think what makes people feel weird about Dreamland against Peach is that they're not down to play like the longer game. But if you get a Peach to a certain percent, you could really literally just be like, I will only hit Peach with this move. And so then you'll just wait for that situation to come up. Like you can just decide to only hit Peach with Bear. And because Dreamland's a big enough stage and Sheik's good at being evasive enough, you could just run around forever until Peach does a thing that you could bear, and then you decide to bear it. And I don't think people are down to play that way because it's either boring or hard or whatever. But that's totally a thing that you could just decide to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is fine. I like that you. So what I think that's important. This I know it's the first second literally, but something that's really important is that there's no reason to like give up this space. You have center stage, you could make Peach has nothing that will make you be like, man, I really gotta go hit the Peach right now. Like you could just sit here and chill. And so I really like that, jumping off the platform and doing the little turnaround's cool, because if Peach decides to jump off platform, you have Bear available. If she decides to dash dance and jump here, you have Bear available still. But then deciding to like dash, like turn and then wave dash forward, look at this position. Doesn't this position just look bad?
Yeah, he's already. I'm closing the space too much without offering any like threat of moving forward. Really.
Yeah, it's like you're doing your wave dash forward, and Peach is already like getting set up. She has a jump out and she has a turn up out. Her things that are hard to like achieve she has available. And so now what happens is she throws a turnip, you grab it, probably trying to forward tilt, it's awkward, you get nared, and now this position's bad, because guess what? Peach is going to dash back, and you're going to get pressured on the ground, right? And it's like, oh, he did something that I didn't think that was that great, but it's like, that was like, ended up being probably not the best situation, but if you literally just stood here, you literally could have stood here and like walked backwards or short hopped, and it would have been perfectly reasonable and gone exceedingly well, you know?
I see.
Nice. Oh, I like that you go to center stage. I think the forward tilt probably wasn't that great. I know you're reading a jump with it. It's like, oh, you know, you probably saw him shield and you were like, what if he jumps forward? But I think forward tilt is just like, there's the way that I like using forward tilt in this matchup is I think that you could use forward tilt only in spots where it will just hit really well and has no like risk to it at all against Peach because she's so slow. And so like in this spot, sure, it could hit her jumping, it would have been really good because she's in the air. But like, if she just shielded, the position's way worse for you. Now you might get shield grabbed, or you might get another shield, you might get punished or something, right? Or you could have gotten CC'd too.
Yeah, I just realized I'm doing the day one Sheik where you're trying to F tilt at 0%.
Yeah, and you do sometimes get the F tilt for 0%. Sometimes you do, but it's specific. You know, that's the thing. It's like it's a special option. It's not the normal one. You know. And so I think what could have been good here, instead of like deciding to like forward tilt, is you could wave dash forward here, and I think that's totally reasonable, and then just turn your back. What if you what's Peach gonna do about you like turning your back here and like playing around the platform? You know,
what if then I have access to like bear out a shield and like I have like my retreating options right there.
Yeah, it's like you turn your back. What if you do short hop, drift all the way into the corner and hit her for picking up the turnip? You know, what if you decide, oh, I'm gonna jump to platform, and then Peach is like, wow, I have a bear that just goes right here that I have to deal with. You know, and that's like, there's been 2 times where the fundamental issue has been like positioning, and I think that's a big part of Peach Sheik. You know, Peach is slow enough to where she can almost always pick the position she wants to play very precisely. And so it's like, if you're not doing that, you know, things will probably end up going wrong. And so then you miss the forward tilt, and it's like, I wonder what's going to happen. Maybe you'll throw the turnip. You have to evade now. But it's like, the Peach is in the corner. What's the point of, I guess it's like, it should probably like set off some lights in your head where if you're evading when your opponent's in a bad position, that probably meant something went wrong beforehand, you know?
I see.
But I like that you went to the platform after, and this fair read was cool. I wish instead of full hopping, I don't know if you meant to short hop, but once you hit this fair, you're so advantageous that you could just like short hop, and like if she down smashes, you avoid it. She jabs, you're above it. She crouches, you could react and like change the way you play. So you could just like short hop back here and just, you know, have good advantage on nearly everything.
I think I did mean to short hop, but I noticed after the full hop, I'm like, oh, I can kind of just react after my full hop and get a kneel right there.
Yeah, it makes sense if you went to short hop. I think it's just, you could do the same thing with short hop, where you can just react and pick your decision because you're just so advantageous, you know.
Could I have F tilt or up tilted after that forward air? After this one right here, off the platform, can I up tilt that?
I don't think you could have up tilted after the fair and have it like true combo. You could like count. But I think that like if you were to do that, it would be super duper preemptive, and you don't know that you're gonna hit the fair. You know.
Yeah.
We could count one.
I'm just seeing it now. I'm like, huh, that looks like something I could up tilt.
Yeah, you could be up tilting on this frame. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think Peach could have shielded.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he tried to do an action, and that wasn't like shield out of land.
Okay. Whiff grab, whatever.
But yeah, does it make sense? Or that like, I think short hopping back here would have been better after this fair.
No, absolutely, because it's just like, what is Peach gonna do like outside of like that initial hit?
Yeah, I think at higher percents you can just up tilt and forward tilt because she gets sent higher, right? But since she's so low percent and was falling to the ground, it's like you can't like do a true combo. You have to play like an advantageous mix up. Yeah. This was a good grab attempt. You just have to practice the tech skill for this. If you do turn grab instead of dash grab, which you meant to do, then You're chilling. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely messed up
Did
your
he
combo and he SD'd.
did he jab? Oh yeah.
Yeah, you did F tilt jab and then. Honestly, I think the F tilt after the whiffed grab was pretty bad. Just
Okay.
because, like, if you look at it as it happens, if you try and do this F tilt, Sheik doing or Peach doing down smash just
Oh yeah.
wins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like a
I
big
see
part
that
of this
now.
matchup too is like if there's this obvious spots where the Peach probably will or can down smash,
They
you should
will.
you should probably play around it because that
I see.
it's like one of the most important things to not get hit by. It's also one of the easiest things to not get hit by if you just decide to, you know.
Yeah. I know I've been doing a lot of Sheik jab is like basically like the floaty slayer.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so good to pop up Sheik and or not Sheik, Peach and Puff, and it's very non-committal too. Which and I've been trying to abuse that a lot,
Yeah, I think jab's
especially at
good.
like upper percents.
I like using jab a lot to kind of like semi anti-air people where it's like I think they might come down at this time, but I'm not sure, and so I get to like kind of use jab and like since they fall so slowly that if they do get hit by it, I could realize it and then like play an advantageous situation out. I
Yeah,
definitely like jab. I do think though that in this position the jab wasn't that great just because you already had a combo, you know. You could have double
I
forward
see.
tilted.
I think yeah, I could have short hop fared or did another F tilt after
Yeah,
that.
like F
I
tilt, short hop fair, F tilt, you know, something.
I think I kind of just mashed a little bit hard. Like I F smashed right there.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you might not have been paying the most attention here.
I like how I
Nice.
played that invincibility right there.
I agree. I think this is great. You cross the Peach up, you go to the other side of the stage. This corner is really hard for Peach to hit from center. And then you make her have to, like, you go to the platform, and it's like, if she wants to hit you, she has to go all the way over there and read you, you know?
Yeah,
And then I think I like that you dash forward, and then you react to the fact that she's jumping, and then, like, do this spare. But then you see what happens, it's kind of awkward. And I think that you could have changed your decision a bit, just a little bit. Like, I think what you could have done here, and this might be a little crazy, but you could either do you could run and then realize that she's above you with this full hop and like do crouch up tilt, or something that's really good that I think most Sheiks wouldn't do but would be valuable is you could decide to short hop backwards here and then do like a really delayed fair to essentially like
oh
catch the last few frames because you know she's in lag from the nair, right? And so that
yeah,
means
yeah.
that you could like delay your move as much as possible to hit the latest part of the nair so you get the most advantage, right?
I see.
And so what happens is like if you do like if you jump or short hop back here when you react and do like a super duper late fair that's still true whiff punishes the snare, you could do like fair up tilt, fair F tilt, and get like your best combos, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I could have gotten a juicier hit there, but I liked the consistency that the bear hitbox gave me
Yeah.
because I wasn't confident in timing like the super good like up tilt or up air or forward air hit.
Yeah. I do think you made a good decision. Yeah. The bear is definitely good recognition, but I think that I just want to mention that what's it called? There was something slightly better you could have done, and it was
Yeah,
like reasonable given the like information you had. Because I'm not going to say
yeah,
that anytime you see Sheik or Peach above you, do the super delayed action, but it's just because she was specifically whiffing a fair, you knew what was happening for the next
yeah,
however many frames. But yeah,
yeah.
I think the bear's fine. I like that you jumped and then needled. Forward tilt's cool. Good awareness that you had to play a mix up.
Mm. How do you feel about this nair I did?
I think it's fun.
Was that the Sammy nair?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah. No, I think this is totally reasonable. You knew that like you probably couldn't have gone to the platform in time to get like a combo, or that like you couldn't have gone the combo you wanted.
Yeah,
Because like I think technically you could just dash forward out of that hit and then get like a fair here every time. I don't think you get the
yeah.
hit you want because like ACI down stuff, and so going for a slightly higher value option like this falling nair is totally reasonable. And I like that you
Okay.
run off the platform too because it's like you know he's gonna try and do something like some like bad defensive option, so you read it. But then I think you probably what was the issue here? You might have had poor textile on some part of it. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
think I was slow.
yeah, I think you were. I want to see which part. I think your fast fall was slow.
Okay.
Yeah, because the nair, I'm pretty sure you dash back near perfectly. One, two. Yeah, so you're one frame late. Then you see how long it takes you before you start fast falling? You could be fast
Oh,
falling
I see.
all of these frames. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
And so then you start fast falling now. and you even act really fast out of the fast fall. But the issue is that you fast fell a bit late. Yeah.
Okay.
But what you did was like a really good thing to do. You just had to have better tech skill.
Okay.
Nice, good bear. Oh, this needle was not the best though. I think it was a good idea to needle there, but the way you have to do it's different. So you wanted to probably cover right here, right? Or like around the edge, or
yeah.
Yeah. If you want to do that, what you could do is, after hitting this bear, you could delay your jump slightly, and then do like a full hop around here, and then turn needle, and then it'll go straight to edge.
I see. I think I jumped a little bit too far. But
Yeah,
it did
you
catch
jumped
his...
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
catched him for the double jump forward.
Damn.
But I think that if you wanted to cover that, what if instead of like, if you wanted to cover the double jump forward, instead of
Can I
just
forward air
like,
that?
yeah, you could just dash forward, full hop fair, or you could do, from the spot you're at, full hop backflip bear. Either one works. You just have to hit him out of the air. So yeah, if you want to hit him double jumping, that's totally a read you could go for, and Peach will just die instantly.
Oh yeah.
She's just no double jump, no full. She's fucked. You just get to edge guard her, and it's pretty good.
I think I reacted to that air dodge with the down smash because I just knew like, oh, they're gonna air dodge. I want a hit.
Yeah, I think you probably. I think you down smashed preemptively. I think you down smashed once you saw that the needle hit.
Yeah, I thought he would fall straight into my down smash as opposed to air dodging behind it. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that like makes sense. But you could also like delay your down smash a bit because it doesn't have to hit at the top. She's gonna fall down anyway. So what if you hit her like right here instead of up here? She's gonna like get hit, and so then like maybe the extra few frames you spent waiting, you could have been like, oh, I saw an air dodge, and then you get to turn around and grab it.
Yeah, I think it was preemptive.
Yeah. Oh, I wish you shield grabbed here instead of.
I definitely meant to shield grab, but
you just messed up. Nice. This is a spot where forward tilt's just like, what the fuck is Peach gonna do? She's not. She's at 64%. She's in roll lag. You could just press the forward your space. She can't shield grab it. You press the forward tilt button. It does not matter. She's just gonna. She can only avoid it essentially. Nice. This is actually you read the Peach staying in the air, which I think is really good. Just know that this is a read. Peach could just fast fall to the ground, and that's something that you have to play against too.
Okay.
Nice. Oh, you did the bear bit preemptive.
I thought he was gonna fast fall. That's why.
I think if you want to
fast a lot or fall the ledge.
If you want to cover her falling the ledge, there's a slightly better way to do it. Because if you look at how your bear hits all the way up here, But like, you want your bear to hit down here. I think you should drop down lower.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to do the bear that covers her like drifting forward, so that's falling the ledge, you have to fall lower.
I see.
But you try to cover her like drifting in without falling, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good forward tilt recognition regardless. Orange needle. Damn, I can't believe he let you get that, but I respect the read. I don't think this read was that worth it, just because if she gets hit, she dies anyways. But I do respect it.
I was just feeling it in the moment.
Yeah, no, I definitely respect it.
It's the only cool clip I've gotten.
Yeah. Oh.
I thought he would I didn't think he would pull DI away from that. I think I could re-grab that.
Yeah, you could re-grab it this percent. You could also react. But yeah. We could watch one more stock and then do a bit of wrapping up.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's already 2. Okay.
Oh, bad tech skill on your stall. I think you should Sammy stall instead of Shino stalling.
Yeah, Shino stall. Yeah. I almost always Sammy stall nowadays. I never like try to do the Shino stall unless they're like right above or right at the ledge, and I can like maybe get some poof shenanigans, and I need to get them to respect my space a little bit more.
Yeah, I definitely like using Shino stalling when I'm like, this guy's not going to respect me on the ledge. I'm going to like catch him, but like most of the time I'll do Sammy stall. Here I think I like that you double jumped from ledge and you reacted to the fact that he was like naring above you, but I think the way you reacted was poor.
Okay.
And so you see how you like land down smash, but you kind of remember how we talked about the last situation where he was jumping above you in lag, and I was like, you could do a really, really delayed fair and get super high value, right? And so we look at this. This is the same exact position. What if you did like a fair around here? It's falling, you get the fair, and then maybe fair F tilt or maybe fair, whatever platform combo, like fair thing,
I could have kept him up in the air too with like a falling up air and like gotten like a bunch of positioning
Yep, I
and an extra hit
agree.
off of that.
Yeah, and I think this might be something that you have to practice too, where it's like reacting to Peach in lag in the air and like picking the most valuable decision. Because
I
I
see.
think this down smash, obviously you're reacting, and I think that's good. But now we have to take it to the next step and pick the best decision we can. You could have shield grabbed this in there.
I can. Okay.
It's just you.
It's all.
You could have like seen that she messed up the tech skill and like shield
Oh,
grabbed. Because I think
I
that
see.
since the Nair hit her shield so late, by the time it hit her shield, you could have seen that like she wasn't
Oh yeah.
falling, and so it's like, she like fell late, and so it's like she actually doesn't have that much frame advantage.
I
That's like a
see.
pretty specific thing. I like the way you play this position a lot. Instead of trying to interact with Peach directly when you don't need to, you go away.
Just
She
jump
tries to hit
over.
you. You bear. Guess what? Get fucked. You know.
Yeah.
Like the dash attack too. You should fair here instead of there. Um,
Uh, yeah, but I just wanted. I don't know. I know Peach can nair out of hit stun a lot of the time, and I wasn't really confident. And I know that the nair will guarantee me the hit. A lot of the times, it's like, and also I know that nair does, I think 2% more than forward air.
mhm.
So I'm just like, okay, I'm okay with not sending him too far off stage because I'm already because he will be off stage regardless of how far he is. I will be on stage. I get a little bit more percent, and I was just okay with this nair. But
Mhm.
but yeah, I think fair would probably have been. I could have gotten a kill straight off this
Yeah, you could have
instead of just
gotten.
positioning.
Yeah, and I think it ends up being pretty important just because like her being slightly further away means that like you don't have to worry about her doing like air dodge immediately or like double jump
I
forward
see.
drift,
Hmm,
and that
yeah,
time like ends up mattering. And I think that like a big thing to realize with like fair versus nair is that fair or nair feels easier because nair's a big move and you get to just press the A button, but it's like
yeah,
fair is like 1 frame slower. I think nair is 4. No, nair's 3 and fair is 4. It's
hmm,
like they're 1 frame difference. It's not really that meaningful, and so you doing just like full hop fair would have just done the same thing, you know.
yeah.
This is a problem with using forward tilt is that if you use up it improperly, it just trades or loses to fair.
Hmm.
And so I
Yeah,
think
that's something that is scary.
yeah, and I think that something you have to realize is after you like go up for this fair, which is a reasonable read, you have to think about the frame advantage, right? And so it's like you're landing right now, and it's like, what if Peach decides to come down, and you have to like worry about that? And so I think once I would have landed from this fair, I would have been like, oh, I whiffed. I don't want to get hit, so I'd do like dash back and then short hop, and maybe pressure if Peach potentially lands.
Yeah, I see.
You know? Nice. I like that you also moved away here. Do this dash back.
Yeah, I nared again there because I wasn't confident in the forward air.
Yeah,
That's
but
something that I do a lot under pressure.
mhm.
Is I'm like, just give me the hit. I'll be okay with nair.
Yeah. Oh, you almost had it. This is hard to get with up air.
Yeah, I saw the first down air and I thought I could get him after that one ended, but then he did it again.
Yeah, I think you could have. You just had to go faster. So it's like you see it, you jump up. You just have to like instantly do rising up air or
Yeah, I
bear.
think I
But
waited a little bit after my first jump.
yeah, you see how you like delayed it a bit. You didn't start doing it until, or maybe you didn't start doing it. Oh, you started doing it on this frame. But what if you're doing it from the first frame of the double jump?
Oh yeah, I did the jump okay, but the up air wasn't on time.
Yeah, you just had to do it like as fast as possible. Good ledge, cool. Okay, cool. Um, do you feel like
Look at Zila's face.
I know he's so taken aback.
He's like, damn, I'm getting rocked.
I feel like you. I think you honestly played pretty well in a lot of spots. And does it like when we were watching? Was it clear that like when you played the situations out, typically space conservatively against Peach and consistently and using like bear and things like that, it
Mm,
played out really well. And then the times where you like kind of strayed away from it ended up being kind of awkward and looking
I
weird.
see. Yeah, absolutely. No, the bear spacing was like very consistent at like dealing at like opening up my threat range and keeping Peach out a lot of the time. Whereas like a lot of the times where I was like trying to like dash away or do an F tilt or like scrap in like some situations, like it got a little bit muddier.
Yeah. And I think that
No,
there are going to be
absolutely.
times to do those things. But again, we have to be specific and really pick which times we want to do the things we do. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and all the other stuff we talked about hopefully makes sense too, where it's like, doing, if you know the peach is in the air in lag, you could really take advantage of that and pick like your best move to get the combo, or like when peach is in the corner, um, turning your back and taking advantage of the fact that you have the platform there with you, and like forcing her to stay there is really good for you. Um,
Yeah.
and all the things of the like. Do you have any thoughts or questions or anything?
Uh, Real quick, is this gonna be on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Because there's definitely some stuff that we talked about that I want to go back and refresh and like go over a little bit. Because obviously you can't focus. Like I did a tutoring lesson with Eli a couple days ago for one of my math classes,
Mhm.
and there's just like so much information and new ideas being presented that it's hard to fully embrace all those ideas in the moment while also trying to pay attention to like the next thing
Oh
and
yeah.
try and apply them like internally.
Oh, I definitely
So
agree.
no, but yeah, so many of the ideas presented um I definitely feel like are not just a matchup thing, but definitely like also like a general idea of like how to improve my spacing and my a lot of my risk reward stuff just
Hmm.
in melee in general.
Nice. Yeah, and I hope that like I don't think I was the most like discerning or maybe critical or whatever, but that like
No, no,
kind of the process
absolutely
that we
not.
went through was like something that you felt like eventually could be something that you could repeat, right? Obviously, right now I'm
Yeah,
not going to be like do analysis the same way I do it perfectly. It's like no, that's unreasonable. But I
yeah,
think that like bits and pieces where it's like the way we thought about the situations, or like maybe what the conclusion we wanted and kind of how to work to it was something that like you feel maybe even slightly more comfortable either hearing or maybe working towards.
yeah, absolutely.
Cool. I mean, that's all I got.
Awesome,
If you have any more
awesome, awesome.
questions or anything, I mean, you could always just message me. I
Yeah, of course, of
always love
course.
talking about melee, so
Absolutely. This it's definitely opened just a whole can of worms of things that I want to like go back and look at and like see through a different not a different lens, but a wider one.
yeah, nice. I think that's really good.
Absolutely.
Okay,
All right.
cool. Have a good
Thank
rest
you
of your
so much,
day.
dude.
Yeah,
You as
no
well.
problem.
Good luck at the tournament. We'll be rooting for you,
Thank you.
obviously.
I'll try my best.
Um, I'll message you if I have any more questions. Do you have like a general idea of when this lesson will be up on YouTube?
Probably literally within the next 2 hours. Like I'm
Oh,
just gonna
perfect.
put it. I'm just gonna like go on YouTube right after this and just start uploading it.
Okay, awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
I could message you if you want to. I think that'll be
Yeah,
helpful.
whenever you have a chance. I
Okay.
know you're busy, so I appreciate you taking the time to help out and everything.
Yeah, don't
And
worry about it.
yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, dude.
Okay,
Always appreciate it. I'll message you for any questions. Talk to you soon.
cool. Later.
Later.